Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellowship. I'm your host, the fellow KGB. We're hanging out today with Jesse, the fellow JGM, and our good friend Drake. We're going to be doing a first-round mock draft. We're going to try to have this be what we think might happen, but we're also going to probably mix in a little bit of fun picks that we would personally like to see. So we're going to do the full 32 teams, the first round, and we got Jesse and Drake. How's it going, guys?
Hello.
Great.
So we haven't really done too many mock drafts together before. We kind of just started a few days ago. I put out a couple videos already. We all kind of have similar ideas, but we vary from a little bit. So I think it's going to be good to have some dialogue about each team here. But Drake, Jesse, Jacksonville, should we just run this pick in?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When it's easy, don't make it hard.
And I think even pick number two, we're gonna give Trevor Lawrence to Jacksonville. That one's pretty much already done. It sounds like he's been working with their organization already and talking about plays and systems and things like that. So that one's in. But the Jets, is this Zach Wilson, or can anything else happen here besides Zach Wilson from BYU?
At this point in the draft, the process is already saying Zach Wilson. It would be a shock if they don't go Zach Wilson. Justin Fields, before the year started, probably would have been the consensus number 2, and then Wilson kind of stormed onto the scene. So
I'm cool with putting Wilson here, but I guess if you guys had to pick the number 2 overall quarterback, who would you guys take? We'll go with Drake. Any thoughts?
I think I'd take Fields.
Fields, okay.
I've been on the Fields train, so.
And if Jesse had to pick number 2 overall?
Yeah, I think for this modern NFL game, we've seen Lamar Jackson now come onto the scene. We've seen Kyler Murray. We see Josh Allen. I think Fields fits the modern football better. I just don't know if the Jets are willing to take a risk like that. But Zach Wilson's kind of a risk too. So
risk, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll lock it in.
It's hard to go against the board.
We'll lock it in because the way that I'm kind of doing these mock drafts too is I'm trying to just get the right names and kind of the right areas. So picks 1, 2, 3, we're pretty sure it's all quarterbacks, right? So as long as we get, we kind of know it's Wilson and Lawrence, and this is the one that pivots everything. That as soon as 49ers make their pick, everyone's going to be like, oh, this is what's happening. So Fields, Lance, Mac, are we buying the Mac Jones hype? It sounds like Drake wants to put Mac Jones to San Francisco. Is this what you would like to do here, Drake?
Yeah, I think just all the hype and everything that's surrounding it, it's kind of, I don't know, if that's where he's going, it's the worst kept secret right now because that's what everyone's saying. People are wrong sometimes, but I think Mac Jones is probably that clear 3 for the San Francisco 49ers offense. He fits into that scheme probably better than those other guys do, and he'll be able to play from day one.
So, Jesse, what's your case against not putting Mac Jones to San Francisco?
The case is pure talent. This is a San Francisco team that they could use an athletic guy like Justin Fields, and they could probably do it really well. But they're kind of in this win now mode, and Justin Fields maybe isn't as polished. But yeah, from a pure talent point, you got to take Justin Fields over Mac Jones. But
so what I struggle with is for the 49ers to move all the way up from 12 to 3 to basically get a kind of – Mac Jones is kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo already. Is that really going to change their offense? A rookie Mac Jones compared to however many years Jimmy Garoppolo has been in the league, is that really going to change what that offense is right now? I think the idea of a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance, we haven't seen Kyle Shanahan's offense run with one of these type of quarterbacks. So it seems like to me they got excited about maybe the idea of Fields or Lance, and they're like, we have to just get up there and we'll trust the evaluation process. So
Didn't Kyle Shanahan have RG3 for a year?
Was he part of the staff in Washington?
I'm pretty sure he was the offensive coordinator, right?
I thought I remember reading something where
maybe he was quarterbacks coach with Cousins and RG3.
I think
that's what it was.
I think the Shanahans they wanted Kirk Cousins. That's why they kind of hedged the bet there. But the upper management wanted RG3 because you only get one chance to make this pick at number 2. They kind of went all in for it, but they hedged the bet with Kirk Cousins. So I think the Shanahans pulled that string. So the Mac Jones is who they like.
So I think Mac Jones is pretty comparable to what you're going to get in the future out of Cousins, right?
Right.
It's kind of there.
And the way I've been looking at Mac Jones is he's never going to be like a Matt Ryan. He could lead a team to like an NFC championship or something. I don't know if he's especially with the right team around him, like the 49ers. We like all their weapons. We like their defense. He could get them, pretty far. But Kirk Cousins is kind of his floor, a guy that can make the playoffs regularly, maybe flirt with a Pro Bowl or two in his career. It's the safe pick. But these Trey Lance and Justin Fields, like the NFL is changing the last few years. So I think they got excited and they want to go with something different here. I don't know.
So do you think that's just all smokescreen right now? And because they've been saying that they want to keep Jimmy. They don't really want to trade Jimmy. So maybe they are looking at a Fields or a Lance, a guy that they can sit for a year. Kind of integrate him into the offense at different times. But maybe
they want to give Jimmy Garoppolo some run, and they don't put Fields or Lance, if that's who it is, out into the wild right away. And what's their record when Jimmy Garoppolo's quarterback? It's pretty good, if I remember.
I mean, they were in the Super Bowl with him, so
he just needs to stay healthy. He battled wasn't the ankle injuries last year?
Yeah, with the COVID year too. I mean, it's just you can give teams a pass for a year.
So what do we want to? This can be.
Let's have some fun here. Let's let Jesse make this pick.
Jesse, what are we picking?
I think we like Fields here. I think this is a case of taking the talent over the scheme fit, trusting that Shanahan can make any quarterback work in his system. Like you said, I think they traded up. They didn't. I agree. I don't think they traded up for a Mac Jones quarterback.
If they wanted Mac Jones, they could have sat somewhere in the 6, 7, 8 range. That would have made more sense.
Right.
But
what did Philly give up, or what did Miami give up to trade with Philly?
I thought it was like a third and a future first or something.
Yeah, I think they gave up one of
quite a bit to go up to 6.
Yeah, they had a boatload of firsts.
They basically gained a first through the whole thing. They gained like a first and a third.
Okay.
Because they gave Philly one of the 2022 firsts that they got from
San Fran. That's a good deal for both teams, really.
Right.
This isn't that much. So it's the number 6 pick in this year's draft, along with the 2021 5th-round pick, and the Dolphins send just the 12
and 4th. No. I think there's more.
And the 2022. I'm certain that there's a 2022 first going to Philadelphia.
Yeah, because don't the Dolphins
have there it is, the 2022 first. Okay, so that makes sense. They gain an extra first to move back 6 spots. So that's actually pretty good for Philly. Because I mean, Philly's looking at corners and receivers and things that are probably a little more down the pole here. But we're up with Atlanta here. And I think Jesse wants to probably put Kyle Pitts here. I think quarterback is interesting. Atlanta's probably not going to get a top 5 pick again next year. I would be pretty safe to bet on that. So the 3 names, Kyle Pitts, Trey Lance, Mac Jones. Do we go tight end, quarterback, or do we look – is offensive tackle potentially a need here? I don't know if anyone has a specific take.
Yeah, I don't have any specific takes, but I think there's a lot of names here that Atlanta likes. And I really think that if they could try and trade into like the Denver, Carolina spot and grab like a Patrick Surtain or something, they could really use a corner. I mean, Kyle Pitts, they still have Hayden Hurst. So I'm not quite sure why everyone's like, oh, they need a tight end. Hayden Hurst, they give up a 2nd rounder for. But when you have a guy like Kyle Pitts, he's a generational talent at the tight end position. So do you pass that up? But top 5, you really want to take a tight end in that top 5 spot.
It kind of bugs me that they listed as their first need.
I think they need a corner way more than they need a tight end.
So is there any who would trade up to number 4 right now?
I think the obvious. You're looking at Denver, like Jesse said. Maybe Detroit too. I could see them being a team in that range that would move up. I think Carolina stays put. They got Darnold and Bridgewater now. Maybe they wait to see what falls to them.
So what if we just keep Atlanta at the pick here? And to me, it makes sense to put a quarterback here. I'm nervous to pull a tight end at number 4 overall. That would scare me. That's a lot on a tight end. I know he's kind of like a pseudo receiver. That's probably going to be a lot of slot and then kind of off the line of scrimmage for him. But Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Matt Ryan's got probably 2 years left on his deal, right? And
Yeah.
we lived what Green Bay did to Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. That's what Atlanta would be inviting. All of a sudden, you got Mac Jones behind Matt Ryan or Trey Lance there. That's a potential friction point. So I don't know. Should we have fun here? Should we get Pitts off the board, or could anything else make sense beside Pitts or quarterback here?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. How many good years do they have left? Is this a chance to maybe try and do a soft rebuild? I mean, Trey Lance, yeah, you're creating the friction, but I think the talent of Lance versus like a Jordan Love is like, I don't really think they're on the same level. So, it'd be kind of fun to see Trey Lance go, and then you have 4 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks. It's kind of unheard of.
One of the craziest thoughts that I had, because we know Kyle Shanahan, he was in Atlanta. What if Matt Ryan just gets sent to San Francisco and everyone's minds just get blown, and there's some kind of other blockbuster deal that just has Atlanta taking a quarterback here and sending Matt Ryan and getting 3 and 4 or something crazy? I don't know. Just some crazy fun thoughts I was having. But I don't know, Drake, if we stick here at 4, what do we want to do with Atlanta?
Lance. I think Lance is the pick.
And I like Trey Lance a lot. I think he needs just that year of pause. We'll see what happens with Matt Ryan. But Atlanta, they're never going to get a top 5 pick, unless things went wrong last year for this team. Tons of injuries, but I think they can bounce back pretty well. So Jesse, are you fine with getting Trey Lance here?
Let's do it.
And here, even if it's not Atlanta's pick, someone's going to come up for Lance. I would feel good about a trade happening there. If it's not Atlanta. So Cincinnati, we've entertained the idea of having some fun with this pick, whether it's Pitts or Jamar Chase, or we just lock in Penei Sewell here. I don't know, Jesse, where do we want to have the safe pick, or do we want to have a little bit of fun with this for Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I mean, this draft is set up very nicely for the Bengals as well. I mean, they could take the receiver here and get a good tackle later in the draft, or they could take the tackle here and probably get a pretty solid receiver at the beginning of the second. So it's really, what do we think the organization is thinking? And we know Burrow is pushing for Jamar Chase. We 100%, right? I mean, that's the dude that put him on the map. So I think the fun pick is obviously Chase here. Kyle Pitts is another name to think about, but I think if they're going to go for that offensive weapon, it'd be really kind of like, how do you go away from Jamar Chase, pairing Burrow back up with his boy?
Drake, do we want to go Jamar Chase here?
Chase.
And I like the depth of offensive tackle a little bit down the line here. I think there's a handful of guys that fall through. There's a couple Alabama offensive linemen that kind of sneak towards the back end of the first. There's some quality schools and some quality linemen later down the road. And I guess to go down from a Jamar Chase at 5 to maybe the Terrace Marshall at 38 or wherever they pick, or maybe that's Kadarius Toney or something crazy. Let's just make Joe Burrow happy, and then we'll work on protecting him. I don't care if they have to take 3 offensive linemen the rest of the draft, and then just add some defensive pieces. So we're gonna have some fun. Jamar Chase to the Bengals.
You got to think they're a team that would be looking at signing Eric Fisher or something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a bridge for like a 1-year contract.
Yeah, because now you got Chase and Eric Fisher instead of taking a tackle.
I mean, they're probably going to be they're probably going to be taking offensive linemen the next 1 or 2 years in the draft.
They're going to stack. They're just going to. It's going to be the accumulation game. They're going to stack O-line until enough sticks.
Yeah, and I don't think their defense is all that off. I think they have some at least talented pieces there.
Yeah. So we're up with Miami at 6 here. The team needs that it says here is receiver. We just took Jamar Chase, so we're probably not going to throw Jalen Waddle at them. I think Kyle Pitts is exciting here to pair with Mike Gesicki. For some reason, it seems like Tua likes throwing to tight ends. He kind of likes the middle of the field, and he likes a bigger target. So I kind of like Kyle Pitts for Miami. They do need a little bit of help on the edge. They also need a running back, which we can address probably later down the road. But is this Kyle Pitts, or Jesse? Do we do something different here? Do we put Sewell in here? He's falling to 6 right now.
Yeah, I think for Miami, they're really hoping Chase falls to 6. I think that's just a perfect match. But Kyle Pitts is not a bad consolation. So he's pretty much a wide receiver and a tight end body. I'm not against that.
So I wanted to paint it this way because Miami. They had the 3rd overall pick. They moved back to 12, and then they move back up to 6, which means they want something in this range. And it's Sewell or Pitts. Like, those are probably the only two guys that they figured would fall. They might have been after Jamar Chase too, so I can see that being a blow for them. But Drake, Pitts, or Sewell, do you have any strong opinion on one or the other here?
At the beginning of the year, I would have said Sewell, but I think they go Pitts here. And like we said, probably I don't even know how big of a need offensive line is for them. I know they have the one tackle that they drafted last year.
Well, they got where's the tackle? Austin Jackson. That's what we're talking about.
He turned out pretty well. I don't know who that is, right? But
Robert Hunt's decent. Solomon Kinley is decent. Eric Flott, like, they could probably address some of the interior O-line later down the road here, but I think they're happy with Austin Jackson.
Especially at left tackle. Sewell's not going to play right tackle.
Yeah. So that doesn't make sense right now.
It would probably have to be Slater. If they throw in a surprise, I could see them drafting Slater. But
okay, because I
think Pitts is probably the best pick here.
Okay, so let's go with Pitts and have some fun here.
Does Gesicki get traded in this situation then? Do they try and move Gesicki for like a third rounder or something like that?
It makes sense to maybe do it like during the draft to try to get more picks, but I don't know. Like, just watching the Dolphins offense the last couple of years is they like to use a lot of tight ends. There's always like a second tight end that appears out of nowhere to catch a touchdown or two, and they have enough targets to flow there. The receivers are weaker, and again, we kind of view Kyle Pitts as like a big tight end slot receiver. And Miami doesn't have a slot receiver, right?
Absolutely.
So I think Gesicki and Pitts can coexist on the same team. So the Tua offense would be fun. You got Pitts, you got Gesicki, you got Fuller, you got Devontae Parker, and whatever they decide to do at running back.
I noticed last year with Miami towards the end of the season when they were relevant, they use a lot of blocking tight ends too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that kind of counters our Pitts pick here and them having both Gesicki and Pitts, but there was some random tight ends getting minutes just because they were able to block better than Gesicki.
Jerome Smith listed as the one.
Interesting. He's the blocking, and they got Shanahan.
Yeah.
So they got blocking tight ends here.
Is Austin Jackson a natural right tackle? Like when he was at USC, was he playing?
I think he played both at USC, didn't he?
Yeah. Because I wonder if they could slot him over to the right tackle. I mean, I think Miami's happy at this pick no matter what because they're going to address, something on that offense that they really need.
It makes sense if they wanted Pitts, the Florida connection. That seems to happen down there quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're up to Detroit. I think they would have liked Jamar Chase to fall. Cornerback is, I think, defense and offensive line are in need here. We left Penei Sewell fall all the way to 7. Should we, no contest? Let's just lock it in.
Sure.
Yeah, I can't see him falling out of the top 7.
Now we're up to Carolina. Similar needs to Detroit. I think they need defensive help. They also need some offensive line to protect Darnold and keep Christian McCaffrey happy as well. So this one, to me, it makes sense for Rashawn Slater. I don't know if you guys can paint any other person here. They got Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater. We're probably not doing Mac Jones here. Jesse, Slater, is this the pick, or do you want to go defense here?
Yeah, every time I do a mock, I have the first 10 picks. They're all offense. So I'm trying to build the case for defense, and obviously the biggest one is Surtain or Horn, 2 really good corners. Carolina needs it, but the way that Slater is, talent wise, it's tough to go against going Slater here when they need offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
They also drafted only defense last year. Mm-hmm. Which would maybe make me think they're going to grab a tackle here. But I think you could make the case for Surtain.
I could almost see this, Carolina trying to trade back because, just to accumulate talent, get more picks, get more guys. They have a lot of needs. Maybe New England's an interesting candidate. They've, in the past, there was rumors that they were trying to trade up for a quarterback. Maybe they like Mac Jones.
So they did sign A.J. Bouye. And they have Dante Jackson. I don't know who Troy Pride Jr. is, but he's their starting right corner. That could be an area of need. I like Jeremy Chin. He's a pretty damn good rookie safety.
He's
too.
Real good.
Yeah.
Who Justin Burris is, so safety could be addressed later. But this team lost Luke Kuechly a couple years ago. So if this is me, I'm gonna bounce back a few picks and try to lock in Micah Parsons, just gain an extra pick and move back maybe 4 or 5 spots. But if we have to stay here, Slater does make sense to me. And like Drake said, they have gone defense the last couple of first picks here. So are you guys fine with Slater here?
Let's do it.
And Mac Jones is sliding down the board. The Denver Broncos are up to pick here. I like Micah Parsons' fit for Denver. They also need a cornerback. I could see that, but I don't think they're going to do that because we just saw they signed a few players. But to me, the only things that make sense here are Mac Jones or Micah Parsons. Jesse, do you have any strong opinion?
No, I think the Micah Parsons is a fit. A lot of people are talking about. Denver probably, they got to be looking at him thinking, yeah, this is nice. We could use this on the team.
And I mean, in a typical draft, like we have we have the first 8 picks all offense. Like Parsons is typically a top 5, top 6 defensive player, in a normal non-heavy offensive draft. So like I think this is a really good value to get probably the best defensive player in the draft. Drake, did you have any thoughts here as I pull up the Denver depth chart?
No, I agree. I think probably if one of those other quarterbacks would have fallen and it wasn't Mac Jones, maybe they take a stab at it based on the talent. But I think Parsons is a good pick here.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Denver decides to commit to Drew Lock for one more season and bring in just a competent backup to maybe push in just a little bit farther. I don't know, but I think the quarterback is a little bit too rich here. If it was Justin,
right back, guys.
If it was Justin Fields that fell, I think that's a conversation because he offers a different element than a guy like Mac Jones or Drew Lock would add. So I'm fine with Micah Parsons here. And then Jesse, do you want to paint the picture here for Dallas and what we think we're going to be doing?
Yeah, I think Dallas has really 2 options. Does Kyle Pitts fall to them, and does Jerry Jones get another love child? In the situation that obviously did not happen. So they have to address the defensive side of the ball. I mean, when Dak was healthy, these scores were 45-30. I mean, it was just offense. They got to get something going on the defense. And I mean, I can't even name one of their corners after they lost their starter.
Byron?
So yeah, Byron's gone. So I mean, it just naturally makes sense for them to take one of these corners. They have 2 really good options.
So, yeah, we got a guy named Jordan Lewis here and CJ Goodwin. Trevon
Diggs. So, is he? Yeah, he's fine.
But he's a young ascending player, but they still need a lockdown cornerback. You think of all the receivers that are in that division. I mean, they got to worry about Kenny Golladay now. You got Terry McLaurin. I'm sure the Eagles are probably going to add to their wide receiver group in a few picks here too. So Drake, I think we're looking at J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain II. It seems like they like J.C. Horn because he's a bigger physical guy. But I really like Surtain. If it was me, I'd pick Surtain. Do you guys have any preference towards which one we go with?
I like Surtain.
Yeah, I'm fine with Surtain as well. He's kind of been like the stable guy. Horn's flying up the board, so.
All right, so now we had 8 offensive players go in a row, and now we're up to 2 straight defensive players, and now we're up to the New York Giants. I don't think wide receiver is as big of a need for them with the signing of Kenny Golladay. They still have Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, but after that it gets a little thin. I just don't know if they're going to invest in a 4th overall. I mean, their 4th receiver with the 11th pick. I guess maybe Sterling Shepard's contract is going to be up soon. I don't know, but defense makes sense here. Cornerback makes sense here. It wouldn't surprise me to see J.C. Horn. Do you guys want to give them Jalen Waddle? I think that would be a fun offense. If you have those 4 weapons, you got Evan Ingram, you also have Saquon Barkley. They're giving Daniel Jones everything he can to succeed properly here. But Jesse, what are you thinking here with the Giants?
This is like to the point of the draft where I'm like, I get confused because I see the consensus is going wide receiver. They just signed Golladay. I know it was only a 1 year. Was it a 1 year deal only? Just kind of like a trial run. They gave him, so like, do they really need a wide receiver here? I mean, maybe if you want to get a young rookie on a contract, 4-year deal. I mean, it's like they got their ex. Shepard's solid. Darius Slayton's solid. Evan Ingram's more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end. And they got they signed John Ross, Drake's favorite player in the league.
I think they're fine there. I don't mind pivoting away. They also signed Kyle Rudolph, so I mean,
So this is like this is almost like a trade back scenario. And I know Gettleman's been talking about like we're trying to trade back, but I'm going to get fair compensation, and like I'm not going to get screwed over, blah blah blah. So I think in a best case scenario, they just trade back and just accumulate some stuff. Maybe get an offensive lineman like Elijah Vera Tucker in the mid-teens or something. It's kind of a stretch to go for him here now because they could use maybe a little bit of offensive line help.
I like where you're going though. He's been rising up boards. He used to be in the 20s a couple of weeks ago, but people are pushing him into the top 15. If they can't get a trade back partner, I think you're on to something with Vera Tucker. Otherwise, the one area here, I'm looking down here at their secondary. James Bradbury, pretty damn good. Jabril Peppers, pretty good safety. They got Logan Ryan. They also have Adoree Jackson. And then they got this cornerback hole over here. You add a guy like J.C. Horn, that secondary could be pretty fun. So I think I'm looking there. But, man, you got a pretty damn good cornerback available.
Jalen Phillips.
Some edge rush here?
Yeah.
They
have Leonard Williams, but outside of that, who do they have for a rush?
They definitely could use an edge. Edge is one of the toughest positions for me this year because like Kwity Paye is kind of the consensus top. Jalen Phillips probably would have been if he went. Did he get to like retire for medical purposes? Like what happened to him? He had some like weird medical thing. So like I don't know who's the number one.
Was he not even in the draft?
Phillips, Miami.
Phillips? Yeah.
Oh, he's right there. Yeah.
Number 18 overall. But it seems like there's no consensus this is the best edge rusher. I think a lot of it is what scheme that the team runs, and that's their guy. But again, I think we're onto something with the Giants being a candidate to trade back here, especially if team wants Mac Jones, this is a spot to go get him. I guess you're not really trying to hop anybody here in particular, but if you get antsy a little bit, I can see other teams wanting to move up or down. So
I see the Patriots move into that pick.
So technically, if you're Washington or even Chicago, you got to probably hop New England, right? So this could be a spot here. I think the Eagles like their spot at 12. They're probably less likely to trade out. But the Giants, there's been like David Gettleman things where he's thinking about, he's never traded down before. He's always kind of traded up. So this could be a first year for them to collect some picks. So we agree it's not receiver. We would like some edge rush, but cornerback makes sense, and then offensive tackle or interior offensive line makes sense. So let's just do it quick. Anything comes to mind off the board?
You probably got to go best available, which would be a Horn,
DPA,
right?
Horn. Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, trading out. Someone's trading out for Mac Jones. That's interesting.
Well, would anyone trade up for J.C. Horn? Is another question too, because I think there's need in Philadelphia for a corner too, so that could be an area to hop, like Arizona coming in for J.C. Horn. That would make sense if they like him. But the Eagles are up here. Receiver makes a lot of sense. Jalen Reagor's pretty much their only guy that's guaranteed to be part of the offense.
We can run this one up. I think Waddle,
yeah. And then the Chargers. This is where I like offensive tackle. I like the idea of Vera Tucker from USC. This is offensive line, right?
I've been seeing. I mean, Darisaw is like if every single mock I see, it's 13. It's Darisaw. It's like lock it in. I mean, where else did they go at this point on the board? Unless they really love one of these edges. Maybe we just don't know that they love Jalen Phillips or Kwity Paye. But Darisaw is just like.
What if they pulled a Devonta Smith?
Yes, I was just going to ask Drake because I'm looking at Devonta Smith, and I'm thinking, who do the Chargers really have besides Mike Williams and Keenan Allen? I mean, they don't have a tight end anymore. They got Donald Parham coming into his second year. They need weapons for him to throw the ball to. That can be addressed later here. But their offensive line needs some work. So let me just.
I think offensive line is a good direction to go there because that'd give Balaga, Lindsley, anyone else they want from the Packers. Oh, they signed Jared Cook.
Who's Trey Pipkins?
Okay, they got Jared Cook now. So the offensive line, man, like who knows what Balaga?
Yeah,
who is Trey Pipkins?
So a left tackle does make sense. Otherwise, I do like that because they just put a lot of money into Corey Linsley. You put Vera Tucker next to Linsley, and those two can form a really good connection. So I kind of get the interior build from the inside out. But fine with Darisaw here if you guys are fine with that.
I'm good.
Alrighty. And Drake, what do you? Let's get your input on the Vikings here. Where are we?
Well, obviously they're gonna run out of time like they did like 10 years ago, and then the Patriots will skip them, and then they'll have their picks. So, no, the Vikings. I kind of like offensive line again. That's been a huge issue for them. But is there an offensive lineman to take here? Maybe a linebacker. Maybe they take edge. They've had a lot of hits to their pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hunter was out last year, and the defense really struggled with him gone, and Griffin was gone as well. So I could see them looking at, getting the D-line help. I could also see them taking a corner because they love to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got Patrick Peterson, and they also have,
and Mike Hughes. So that's pretty good.
Dantzler, Jeff
Gladney, the rookie.
Gladney didn't do bad last year either. So
no, so secondary.
I think they're probably good at corner.
Secondary looks solid here. I think they're fine with Barr and Kendricks at linebacker, but again, like you said, outside of Daniil Hunter, like what do they really have for a pass rush?
Yeah, or even just D-line help.
Yeah, I like Dalvin Tomlinson, but I think these are really the only two pieces that they have worth being called an asset here. So Jesse, do you like the idea of an edge, or should we get them? I mean, it says their need is interior offensive line. If you look up here, I like Garrett Bradbury, solid center. I think Ezra Cleveland is probably a lock. I don't know much about Brian O'Neill, Dakota Dozier, or Rashad Hill. So that's 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 5 spots are locked in. I think offensive line is probably where we should go.
Yeah. When you look at this team, I mean, they have you nailed it. They have 2 offensive line pieces. They have 2 defensive line pieces. Who's the best on the board? The edge situation. Again, I'm confused. If they have a favorite, maybe they go Jalen Phillips. Maybe they go for the Kwity Paye. But I mean, I don't know. I see a lot of Elijah Vera Tucker going there. They call him kind of like one of the safer picks of the draft. I don't know, Minnesota. They just strike me as a safe team. They did take Justin Jefferson last year, but they needed a wide receiver. So yeah, I mean, you can build a case for any pick. If you hear some insight that they love Jalen Phillips, wouldn't be surprised to see him go edge.
What if they love Devonta Smith? Adam Thielen, man, he's getting up there. Yeah. Just interesting. But I think I'm going to run in Elijah Vera Tucker here. I think he's one of the safest interior offensive linemen you can get, and he sticks out amongst the other ones behind him. So you're getting the top guard prospect here. Now we're up to New England. Drake, what are we doing here?
Mac Jones.
Jesse, Mac Jones?
Mac Jones falls to 15.
Boom.
So I think this is probably, if Smith is still around, where we see a team trade up and come and get him.
What if Arizona took him? I mean, I think they need corner. They lost Patrick Peterson, but I don't know.
Horn usually, this is kind of the spot I see Horn go a lot, but I think Horn's going to go higher than they're going to want. I could see Arizona trading up, but
stays healthy.
Newsom's got the injury concerns. Fairley's got the injury concerns with what did he have, like a acute something or other, he had some weird injury that kept him out of last year.
The Cardinals have way too many receivers right now. So
and they signed AJ Green. They got freaking
Kirk. They got Hopkins. They got Larry still chilling out.
So
there's a good tight end.
Does it matter Farley or Greg Newsome? Do we just want to lock one of those two in for corner?
I would just pick best available, so that'd be
Farley, I guess right? Farley. I mean, it seems like a reach, but like they need a corner, at this point.
I think we're as long as we get the right position, I'm fine with it. If it's Newsome, I'll still feel good about the evaluation of them needing a corner first. So we're up to the Raiders. Who knows what John Gruden's going to be doing in this one? It seems like he does something that makes us scratch our heads every draft. They do need offensive line help. I can't remember who their starting left tackle was last year, but he left.
Gruden's going to see Heisman winner Devonta Smith, and he's going to cream on the spot.
I think Gruden picked Smith. I'm going to be honest.
Honestly, back-to-back Alabama receivers, he's got to hit on one of them, right? Like, I don't know. It's Gruden's a crazy dude. You never know what's going through his mind. Who'd they trade at? They took at like 4th or 5th overall last year. The freaking
Farrell.
Yeah, Clemson. Like he was expected to be like a teen,
Mhm.
mid-teens.
So just a quick analysis.
I mean, look at their linebackers and outside rush. They're set.
This is solid here. Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue, Solomon Thomas, Quentin Jefferson, Clellan. Like this looks fine. I think they can maybe pick up a piece later in the draft. I like the middle of the field here. Safety maybe. Carl Joseph is all right here. Maybe another corner. I can see another corner going here. But if
Gruden liking Newsome.
But this is the Raiders. Let's have some fun with this Raiders pick.
The O line looks like it could use some help, but like,
who do you go here for O line?
I guess it's top available is Jenkins. He's kind of getting some good recognition. Cosme's probably a little down.
What's up with Colton Miller?
I don't really know. I don't know enough of like how were they last year?
They desperately probably need O line. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When did they get Nick Martin?
Should we go top offensive lineman available here?
Probably.
It doesn't seem right, but it seems like the right pick.
All right, let's just get it in and move on.
It's probably the right pick, but it's probably not the pick that we're going to see Gruden making. So.
What about Christian Barmore here?
D line. I mean,
here, like Quentin Jefferson, Solomon Thomas, he could play somewhere.
Really build up your strength there. That would be.
When did they get Thomas?
Here's the other thing too: is they just saw how to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And just loading up a position of strength would make sense. You got to play Mahomes twice a year. The Broncos are going to be much better this year. And now you got to worry about Justin Herbert. Maybe attacking these pass rush or these great passers could be the way Gruden counters with it. I don't know if that changes things for you guys. I'd be fine with Barmore here.
Sure.
I'm not I don't have any strong tilts here. I still think Gruden's going to see Devonta Smith, and he's not going to be able to help himself. I don't know why.
Do it. I don't care. We're doing Devonta Smith. It's done.
Sweet.
It's done.
We're inside the lineup, John Gruden.
Who do we take with Miami's first pick?
Kyle Pitts.
Pete's.
Okay.
Pete's.
They're going to be pissed. They could have had.
Do we look at Phillips now?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I'm fine with running in the edge here.
We're just double dip in Florida talent.
Yeah.
Now we're up to Washington offensive line. It looks like the defense needs help with linebacker, safety, corner. Receiver could be a lot of fun, but they did sign Curtis Samuel, so you got McLaurin and Samuel out there. You got Logan Thomas. They're pretty set at the receiver. I guess for starters, I mean, you also have Antonio Gibson, second year. So they need a quarterback. Maybe this is the year where they just grab the best offensive tackle available and begin to build the foundation.
Just build it up. Yeah, it's either Jenkins or Jock for me, Jeremiah, but I think Chevin Jenkins makes more sense here.
Drake, any disagreement with Jenkins here?
Nope.
Sweet.
Bears will be upset about that one.
Jesse, paint us the picture for the Bears.
Well, consensus in Chicago is nobody is going to trust this to be the right pick, is really what I'm hearing. Nobody trusts it. Nobody expects the right pick. So they're going to fuck it up. What pick here will be considered a fuck up?
Kyle Trask.
Najee Harris.
The current state of the Bears.
Like the fan base, everyone's just kind of just so like demoralized right now. Basically, until Ryan Pace is gone, until Nagy is gone, they just really don't trust anything that's happening.
Unless they win a Super Bowl next year. And then they'll, but that's not happening. So.
Exactly. I mean, that's I mean, look at the team. You got
Andy
Andy
Kyle
Dalton.
Fuller to sign Andy Dalton.
Right. Yeah.
Who else was offering Andy Dalton $10 million?
So the defense looks solid, man. Like I could see nose tackle and right D end maybe.
They probably need a corner.
They signed Trufant. They got Jalen Johnson, who I think they drafted last year.
Yep.
So they could get another corner. That would make sense to add some depth here.
You see him taking Newsome.
Newsome, I like
connection there.
What about this offensive line here? Charles Leno Jr., James Daniels, Cody Whitehair, Jermaine Ifedi, and Elijah.
Not good. The Bears fans want O-line, so it's not going to be O-line.
What's the state of Allen Robinson? Is he committed to being there or what?
No, he's not.
It also sounds like Anthony Miller could be moved at some point.
Yeah, there's rumors. Yeah, Miller's getting shopped. That Allen Robinson's not going to sign a contract. This team is in a really poor state. And here's the thing: Pace is playing. He is playing for. He's drafting for his job right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost kind of makes sense that like they try and go and grab like a Rashad Bateman, who's the splashy, sexy pick right now that can kind of maybe stir up some hope in this team. And like offensive line doesn't really, Tevin Jenkins just went. So like, who's the offensive line? Who's the sexy defensive pick?
If Devonta Smith was available, that's the one that it's been making sense to me. And again, you're talking about the GM knowing that I need to do something that's going to keep me around. Drafting a stud receiver or other kind of weapon gives you an extra 1 or 2 years to see how that player plays out. And then you can, I drafted Devonta Smith. Like, look at how this went. That could go a long way. Whereas offensive line, like the excitement of drafting an offensive line, it makes a lot of sense. But is that a job-saving pick? Probably not.
Especially when like Jenkins goes right in front of you. That's probably the pick that they want.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see maybe Pace gets crazy and trades up here. I mean, I don't think anything's out of the cards.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about it before with like someone trading up into this New York, Philly, Chargers, Vikings range to hop the Patriots as a quarterback.
I mean, right? If they can plug and play Mac Jones, that maybe buys them the time that they need, or who knows what the heck they're thinking, man.
All right, Drake, you get to make this pick for us. Chicago. What do we got?
I had the least to say about it. I think we just got to splash and go Bateman here.
Yeah, splash.
I don't know what else saves you your job.
All right.
Blake, what do you think Blake's reaction will be when they grab a wide receiver?
He should be excited.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing. I think if you take a wide receiver, it's like your fans can't be upset because it's like, hey, we need a wide receiver. Hey, that's going to help our offense.
Yeah,
I think Blake will be like he'll be optimistic about that. It's hard to not be. So like,
but it helps him now, and Allen Robinson's probably on his way out. It helps him now, and you get an Allen Robinson replacement, and I think Bateman can do Allen Robinson things. That's actually a really good comparison for him. So
we see A-Rob get moved this draft, possibly.
I think the Anthony Miller seems more movable because if they were probably trying to ask for like a 3rd or 4th round pick for him, I could see someone wanting to go instead of drafting a new player here. Get Anthony Miller's damn good. I don't know why they haven't been super excited to kind of unleash him, but he deserves a chance to shine. So, but I don't know. We're up to Indianapolis, Jesse. This one's going to be you. Let's get inside the mind of a Colts fan here. What are we looking at?
So all 3 players that I like the Colts grabbing are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Farley gone. Tevin Jenkins gone, and then Bateman just left too. I like Bateman, a good fit in that squad. So now just looking at the board, I think Edge makes a lot of sense here. I think Kwity Paye makes a lot of sense. They don't really have that dominant edge. They have a great interior with Buckner. They got a great linebacking core led by Leonard. They don't have that that sack specialist who's coming in and getting 15 sacks, and Kwity Paye could potentially be that. So I think looking at the board and what's available, Greg Newsome, I don't love Greg Newsome compared to the other top guys. Zaven Collins, I don't think they need that linebacker, so BPA doesn't really fit the mold. They need a left tackle super bad, and I'm just hopeful that they have someone in mind in the 2nd round because right now it's ugly.
Is this a trade down for you? You said your players you wanted were off the board. You got a team like the Jets. You got the Steelers. What if someone kind of moves up for Najee Harris? There's a run on running backs here, like running back hungry teams. I don't know if that's the move or if there's someone else that's falling that needs to be grabbed here.
It's the problem right now. I'm looking at this board and I'm thinking, who is there to trade up for? Who can the Colts expect to trade? I'm not feeling great about the situation right at 21 right now. I'm hopeful that they find a trade back. I think really with this, the board plays out this way. My best case scenario is they trade back and just get an extra 3rd or 4th and do some damage in the 2nd round.
Jesse, I'm looking at Baltimore here with 27 and 31. I think that would interest the Colts quite a bit. We just talked off the air about Baltimore maybe wanting a receiver. The Bears just took the 4th one off the board here. All of a sudden, a little desperation comes in. I can see Baltimore swooping in and saying, hey, we got to go get
Yeah.
Marshall.
Baltimore actually really needs an edge too. So like that actually makes a lot of sense for me to go up and grab a guy like that they really are targeting potentially.
So do you want to just lock in an edge here, and we'll kind of, if you're watching, we might let's predict that if that happens, we'd feel pretty good. Baltimore moving up to the 21-ish area with the Colts to snag their favorite edge player. But if you had to pick one, Jesse, you're going to go with Kwity Paye.
Kwity Paye, Michigan.
Sweet. And then now we're up to the Tennessee Titans. It says their needs are corner, receiver, offensive tackle, safety. They could maybe use a tight end, but that can maybe happen later in the second round.
Can we just lock in Newsome here?
Lock in. Don't even hesitate. Let's do it. I would have had a tough time if Bateman was available. I've been looking at corner and Bateman between.
Newsome seems like a total guy that the Titans organization would like.
Yep.
Good pro, solid player. After taking Isaiah Wilson last year.
Yep. So Robert Saleh, he got his quarterback. Now I think this has got to be defense. He wants somebody that he can begin to mold and be the leader of his defense. Jesse, do you have anybody that sticks out here? The Jets have needs all across the board. I can pull up the depth chart if we want to just admire it for a little bit.
Do you think the Jets get a weapon here for their second overall pick, Zach Wilson?
They signed for Davis,
Mims, Crowder. I mean, it's one of those like.
Is this Najee Harris out?
I think they need Najee Harris. You bring in Zach Wilson, and that offense, man, it needs a lot of help. Literally, the only place that's safe is Mekhi Becton and Mims and Davis.
Mm-hmm. Crowder's safe. I mean, you're happy with Crowder.
And to be honest, the defense, I mean, they definitely need help at cornerback, but we just saw the run on corners. The linebackers, Gerard Davis, like
Blake Cashman,
what are we doing? Carl Lawson's fine. Quinn Williams is fine.
So they could use D-line, linebacker, and
we need everything, man.
You could throw a dart at the board, and you'll be fine.
So this is fun. Do you guys want to go Najee Harris here?
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Pittsburgh's next. So I don't know. All aboard, Najee?
Go for it.
Alrighty. And then Steelers. I don't know if any of you guys have a strong opinion on what the Steelers need. I'm going to go pull up the depth chart over here.
Everyone's just been plugging in Najee Harris. I think that's kind of like the easy way out for the Steelers right now. Just I'll give them Najee. But they really need offensive line help.
Yeah.
They lost so many guys in the last few years.
I mean, look at that line. Oh
Chukwuma
Okoro. They're basically set at right guard, and I don't know who their left tackle is.
Do you like any of the Alabama linemen here, or
I see the Steelers doing something like that?
You got Leatherwood. That's a great name.
You have Landon Dickerson. That's a center. Sam Cosme. I've been thinking him kind of reach up there, and then Liam Eichenberg, Notre Dame, and I think that's kind of where it drops off a little bit.
I could see them going one of those guys.
You guys fine with Leatherwood here, offensive tackle?
Yeah, because they got to. I mean, they have to protect Ben this year. They're committed to winning now. So
So now we got the Jaguars, who also have pick number 33 and another second rounder and another the first pick in the third round. They got tons of picks here. It wouldn't surprise me if they move around a bit, but if we draft Trevor Lawrence, we would of course love to get some offensive line help. I don't think receiver is that big of a need for them. They got Laviska, they got DJ Chark, they signed Marvin Jones. They probably could use a tight end, but I don't know, Jesse. Like, what do you do here? We got Trevor Lawrence locked up, and now how do we help the Jaguars win games?
How do we help them out? I mean, they need a lot. It's just like the Jets; they need a lot. I kind of was eyeing up the safety from TCU. Maybe he's pretty solid. There's really not a position. I don't think you can go wrong here. It's more about, I think, maybe landing the right player here. Who's going to go in this range?
So what are the assets on this defense here? Shaq Griffin, I suppose, CJ Henderson. Those guys are solid. Schobert, middle linebacker, Miles Jack, probably Taven Bryan, and Josh Allen. So they got 50% of their defense covered. As far as I don't think they need to take a receiver here. They got Chark, Marvin Jones, Laviska. I think if Bateman was here, sure, I'd be fine with Bateman. Cam Robinson, Jawan Taylor. The tackles are kind of set here. Maybe is this interior offensive line? What about center here? I don't know this Brandon.
Maybe be a Dickerson pick here, kind of.
I like Dickerson. I think
makes sense. Get Dickard.
Let's get Trevor Lawrence his
I think he's up a little bit. He's up.
I'm getting to the start here. There we go. So Landon Dickerson, the Jaguars get their quarterback and their center of the future. Now we're up to Cleveland. I don't know, Drake, do you want to take this one? You want to?
Sure.
What do we got?
Let's see. Needs D-line. Do they need D-line and edge though?
I don't think it's updated. I mean, they got Garrett, they got Clowney, they got Tack McKinley. Like, if anything, they need some, interior defensive linemen. So Barmore.
Did they just drop that D tackle too? They had to cut him for cap reasons, so maybe they looked at interior D line here. Maybe we see Barmore go here. I think that's a good Cleveland pick.
Good with that one.
I like that.
Alrighty. And we are up to the Ravens. I would predict the Ravens move one of these 27 or 31. They're going to condense it, maybe move up, maybe even move back into the second a little bit more too, because I think they did lose their second draft pick this year. And
yes, they did. Yep.
Yeah. So it says edge, offensive tackle, which they replaced Orlando Brown, correct?
Yeah. The guy from Pittsburgh.
Villanueva.
Oh yeah, Andre Villanueva. Okay.
I think they're. I don't. Is it official? I know they're like.
I know it was official, but it was like they're expected to sign him. He's expected. To sign.
So, I mean,
it came out right after they traded for him.
John Harbaugh has been saying they want to address the receiver position. They signed Sammy Watkins. We'll play the Sammy Watkins dance again this offseason. But
edge makes
I mean, what about the pass rush here? Calais Campbell, Derek
Wolfe is a good pick. And then they grab whichever receiver falls to them next.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have that elite defense.
What about safety here? Let's get the TCU kid off the board.
Sure.
That's an interesting spot as well. I think, they can't go wrong. I mean, they got good options here. They're like in a good spot at 27. They need edge. They need safety. It's which one do they like more? I think Trayvon's really good.
There's only one safety, and there's a handful of edge players yet available too. So you might as well just get that one out of the way and focus on edge later. So we're gonna go Trevon Moehrig here, safety out of TCU. New Orleans Saints. I don't know if one of you guys want to take this one, but what are the Saints? I think the Saints need more defensive help than offense. I'm pulling up their depth chart right now.
I've been seeing like Tony going to the Saints. I've been seeing a lot of I don't really. It's like they're a team that they're pretty good all over the place. Obviously, the hole at quarterback is the biggest issue, but they can't really address that now, right? So, what are they doing? They got a good offensive line.
Look at some
I
of
think
these.
they could use a receiver. Yeah.
Shai Tuttle, David Onyemata, Zach Bond's solid. Demario Davis is getting up there. Andrew Dowell. I think linebacker makes sense to me. I mean, they got Patrick Robinson. I don't know who Patrick Robinson is.
Safety or corner?
Huh?
Corner, Patrick Robinson used to play for Florida State.
I
think they've had him for a while, or he left and then came back.
I think linebacker makes sense here. I mean,
I like the linebacker, yeah.
I mean, I think for the receiver they love, maybe. Yeah.
I like the kid from Notre Dame, Koromoa.
So do I.
So we're going linebacker here for the Saints.
All right, boys, take it away.
Drake, let's go. You can start this one off.
I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, let's just pull up the depth chart. Let's just do what we've been doing for the other teams and look at this realistically here. I think receiver. I don't think if Bateman was here, I would love Bateman. I think we wait on receiver if that's what they want to do. Adams, Allen, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling. They got enough other projects to work with. Tight end. We've already invested in tight end. We got Robert Tonyan. No problem with tight end. Offensive line. Are we going to really start Billy Turner at right tackle? Bakhtiari is going to be fine left tackle. Elgton Jenkins, we have him in the center right now. If Dickerson fell, I wouldn't have minded to get the center from Alabama, put Jenkins back into his place. John Runyon goes to guard. I think that would solve a lot of problems. So offensive line, we clearly need something on the right side, maybe for tackle or another interior lineman. But I kind of like working on the defense. So Drake, what are some of these holes we see? Linebacker, man, right?
Linebacker, probably number one. Defensive tackle would be my second. And then corner. We don't have a third corner right now. I mean, we have some, but they don't use them or trust them. So Kevin King can start this last year, and that will be what it'll be. You're obviously set with Jair, but I think investing in a corner here would be smart if there's one worth to invest in.
Would that be Asante Samuel, right?
Right, which is just another little wet dream for a player or for someone that watched the football back in the early 2000s and Tom Brady's first run.
So I'm looking at Chris Barnes and Kamal Martin in the middle of our defense. Those guys played decent last year. The ability, like, for us to lock in a potential starter on that and make these guys kind of more reserve roles.
Yeah,
we
haven't had a starting middle linebacker since who? I mean, that was actually worth it.
But are we really going to walk out there with Dean Lowry and Tyler Lancaster in the middle of our defense?
There's some edge talent on the board. I think Ojulari is well regarded. Zaven Collins also. I mean, I think there's some good, strong.
I think Zaven Collins would be a good pick here. Obviously, I've expressed my desire for Asante Samuel Jr. I can't comment on the offense lineman left.
So this Creed Humphrey was probably the second best center last year behind Dickerson. Played at Oklahoma. He's been a part of good teams. There's a lot of good pass rushers in that conference too. So he's had to deal with a lot of things on that offensive and defensive line. If you wanted to, I don't mind getting a center. I like this other. This is the second best defensive tackle on Wuzurike here from Washington. But I don't get why the Draft Network has our guy Asante Samuel down here at 60. That feels a little low.
Eric Stokes is a guy you should look into as well. He's been seeing him in the first round a lot more. Georgia, interesting cornerback.
So I don't know.
I think the best move is probably grab that center so we can get Jenkins back to guard,
and then Runyon to the right. Runyon could lock down the right side. I think we're fine with Billy Turner just for now. We got to probably bring in some competition towards the end of the draft, but really give them flexibility. But if we're talking that, we could probably trade down then, right?
Probably. I actually anticipate the Packers trade down. In this draft.
Well, say we stand pat. I don't want to take the center in this one. It's not a super sexy pick. I'm interested in Ojulari, getting an edge, a defensive end player. Packers need to stop the run. We need more bodies that are like terrors in the middle at the line and the linebacker. I want more investment into that area of the field. So now I'm going to have to spend the rest of my Sunday watching Ojulari tape here.
That'd be my pick right here. So I think that.
There we go.
All right, Jesse, do you want to tell us what the Bills are going to do?
The Bills are going to be really pissed that the Packers just took Ojulari because I know that from a lot of reports that's a guy that they really like and they really think that's a strong fit. That's one of the few insights I've been able to gather is trying to pick apart who these teams like. It's the hardest part about this whole thing. They really want an edge. But now their guy's gone. Do they really? I mean, I don't really know much about who Joe Tryon is. Jason O is a guy that we know played well with Parsons at Penn State. Could they look at cornerback? Is this an Asante Samuel spot or maybe Eric Stokes? I mean, I know they got Trey White on the one side, but outside of that, it's not really a whole lot to love.
I like the idea of corner here.
Yeah, good.
Besides,
this is like a luxury pick. I mean, Buffalo's pretty good. Pretty good line.
I don't know. It seems like edge rusher makes sense. I'll have to do some more work on Joe Tryon. I've heard of I've looked into Jason Owe. He's got some good stuff. I don't think they separate themselves as much as you would like. I really like this Gregory Rousseau character down here from Miami. He didn't play last year, but he was a beast. That to me, if all the edge rushers available, I like him.
I like it.
So
I'm cool giving him the best edge, and if that's a guy that you have conviction on, you can give him Rousseau. I mean, if that's your conviction, I don't have strong conviction on the rest of these edges.
I don't know, Drake. How would you fix Buffalo, Drake?
I don't think they have a whole lot to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the best edge rusher.
I mean, edge is a thing where you can always rotate those guys out, and the more guys you have, the fresher they are.
Yeah. When injuries happen in that position.
A guy named Travis Etienne.
Fun? Yeah, I just don't know if they grab that with they have 2 running backs that they like.
Yeah,
and
they
don't
just
want.
invested in Moss. That'd be pretty wild.
So we're just gonna lock in the best. I think it could be Russo. I'm gonna just lock in the best edge for them on this board. That's Joe Tryon here from Washington. Now we're up to Baltimore's second pick. We did give them safety. We also said edge would be fine here. Should we just lock in edge for them right now?
What are we locking? Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, Terrence Marshall Jr.
All right, I'm fine with that. And then the last pick of the draft, I don't think the Bucs need a receiver. I don't know why that's their first team need. For me, I want them to address the potential Ndamukong Suh hole that's going to be gone in a year. The JPP, they have aging assets on the defensive line, and I think they proved that that's basically how they won the Super Bowl is with that defensive line. So I don't think they have too many. Like they really don't have many needs. Asante Samuel Jr. could be kind of fun here. Because they're not going to be able to pick until 64. So that's kind of fun. But I don't know which edge to give them. Any thoughts on what Tampa Bay should do?
I think you're right. This is a team like Buffalo. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. And so if you have luxury and you're a smart team, you don't just go take a fun, like a running back. You draft, you stack strengths. And that aging D-line is going to need some updating. Maybe look at the D-tackle.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was thinking he might be a good pick here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Vita Vea has been kind of injured the last couple of years here. Ndamukong Suh's gone. Didn't Vita Vea play at Washington too? I think
Suh's gone.
So,
Suh didn't resign, Kyle.
What was that?
Suh is off the team.
No, Suh's back. It was a weird deal. So for me, I would like to run in Levi on Wuzarike here.
There you go.
And that is it. The draft is done. I don't know. You guys like what's? I was kind of disappointed at what we saw available for the Packers. I'm sure you were disappointed what we saw for the Colts. But I think we got if you just kind of chunk it and think top 5 picks, these are the correct names. 6 through 10, these should be the correct names. I think we did a good job of getting within the ranges and just painting possibilities and what teams are probably looking to do.
The hardest part is right here, these middle picks.
Mm-hmm.
The draft can go so many ways, and then the guys you maybe think will fall to the late first don't fall, and then you're upset because those are the guys you're like, I was getting hyped for these guys to my team, and then they don't happen. So,
funnest pick of the draft, Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
Most fun.
Back-to-back Alabama receivers, baby.
I like Bateman, man. I want him to succeed. He's one of my favorite receivers. Chicago, fine. You can take him. But Allen Robinson likely on the move. I'm trying to think. Najee Harris to the Jets. Let's go. That would be fun.
2 offensive skill positions, the quarterback.
Instantly, Najee Harris is top 5 for fantasy rookies then. He gets on a team where he's the only back.
So yeah, if you put him in Pittsburgh, he's like the 101, right?
You're right. But you put him on the Jets, I'd say he's still 5.
He's like 3, 4, 5. It depends on if you need a running back, then you're going to take Najee Harris. But I don't know. I'm open to there being kind of like a culture shift, a new regime's in town. Salah seems to be a pretty solid, good dude. His defensive players, they loved him. I have a lot of people love Adam Gase. I don't think so. I think the Jets are going to be. They're locking in Wilson. They're locking in Najee Harris. They should be a playoff team in 2 years. Maybe that third season, they should be able to have acquired enough offensive and defensive talent. So that's kind of
if Wilson's the guy.
So we gave how many? I think we did 5 receivers, 1 running back here, 1 center. I like Alex Landon Dickerson here. We had 4 straight Alabama kids go. Oh my goodness.
Man, that's all they do. They produce NFL talent.
And then as you can see here, towards the end of the draft, interior D-line, safety, linebacker, edge, receiver, D-line. I think that end of the first round, first night on Friday night, that first 5-10 picks, people are going to be like slicing and dicing for their defensive players. So I don't know. I just want this thing to happen. Any closing thoughts here for you guys? Drake, you want to go first?
Ideally, this is not how the Packers draft goes. I would like Barrymore probably.
Go
and-
watch some Ojulari tape, baby.
You're gonna like it.
You having Rashawn Gary like flashbacks?
Yeah, I'm just having Gary is fine. I'm having flashbacks to Dayton Jones.
Dayton Jones?
God, whatever else we took back then.
Like in this position, I wouldn't mind Levi and Wuzarike. Get a big body on the D line.
I think that's just such a need. I don't know. Is Ojulari, is he a good run stopper? Is that what he's best at, or is he a quarterback guy?
He's more finesse. He's not very big. He's not big. He's tall and strong. But
I think we just need a big bodied guy in the middle to help Kenny. We can't just keep relying on him and freaking Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
But it is how it goes. So
I mean, to be honest, Barmore's probably, if we get Barmore, we will celebrate. That's the guy that I think. The combination of he's short, but he's massive, he's quick. I think that's what we want. So I'm excited about that. But Jesse, final thoughts for you on this mock draft today?
Yeah, man, we have 4 days until the first round. I bet you we're going to hear and see things that we never would have thought we would see. So it's just trying to pick apart what's going to happen. Hopefully our teams don't settle for these picks, or hopefully, I would love to see something crazy. I mean, I always want something crazy. 4 quarterbacks of the first 4 picks is pretty crazy. One of these quarterbacks is going to fall for sure. Which one is it? Nobody knows.
So are you guys down for that Matt Ryan to San Francisco?
That would be nuts.
That'd be pretty crazy.
I don't think they'd give up a 3rd overall pick, though.
Wouldn't you have to?
Maybe
they could get away with like next year. Didn't they give up next year or so?
They did.
Yeah. So I think they would have to, but
it's out there.
That's the thing. The 49ers give up next year's and 2023 first for this pick. Is that Mac Jones?
That's crazy if it is, but
I like Mac Jones, guys.
I could be totally wrong on Mac Jones too. And I think in the 49ers system, that's his best spot. Or the Patriots. Those are 2 good spots for him. And
if Carolina didn't go get Sam Darnold, that's what I wanted Carolina to do at 8. That felt really good. But I don't know. Before I let you guys go, I just wanted to ask you, what's one thing you're willing to lock in with this 2021 first-round draft? Drake, if you want to go first, is there something you want to lock in besides Trevor Lawrence to the Jaguars, or calling a trade? It doesn't have to be the correct trade, but a team that moves up or down, something?
I think I want to lock in Atlanta moving
Okay.
down.
Jesse, do you have any strong lock convictions?
John Gruden will do something we won't see coming, but no, I think there will be over 3 first-round trades.
Okay, I'll take that over.
Over 3.
Someone's going to hop New England for a quarterback. I think that 5th quarterback that's falling a little bit, someone's going to try to hop him. If someone doesn't hop New England, and New England would be the team that tries to hop for that 5th quarterback. So I think that 5th quarterback, whether it's Fields, Lance, or even Jones, someone's going to be excited to move up for him. So I don't know. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be doing more videos in the future. For Jesse and Drake, you guys have a good day. We'll see you later. Peace.
Adios.